Liebe Moshpit Army, hier ist euer Kario. Vielen Dank, dass ihr wieder eingeschaltet habt bei Moshpit Passion hier auf YouTube. Heute eine neue Folge Thrash Whiplash, die Rubrik bei Moshpit Passion, wo es nur um Thrash Metal geht. Also freut euch auf eine neue Folge mit der Band Schizophrenia aus Belgien, Antwerpen. Das ist eine Newcomer-Band, die haben vor ein paar Monaten ihre Debüt-EP Voices rausgebracht, die in allen möglichen Heften, Magazinen, irgendwie alles rasiert. Nicht wundern, das Video ist zwar in englischer Sprache, aber ich übersetze für euch die Antworten von Ricky, also der Basser und der Frontmann der Band, die Fragen für euch, und wünsche euch jetzt viel Spaß damit.
Moshpit Passion, for the passion of the music.
So yeah, first is thank you very much for the time and to do the interview. It was original.
Thank you for the chance.
No problem. It was original planned in my hometown in Essen in I guess February or March, but the show was cancelled due to the Corona pandemic because you should play with Evil Invaders. There,
we did play Essen.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah. I wasn't there because of the. Sorry for my English. I wasn't going there because of the Corona pandemic. Because I was a bit afraid. Like I don't know, should I go or not? And I wasn't also sure if it's gonna work because around that time when you played here, some tours were cancelled from other bands or some cities were completely closed. And I mean, how was it for you as a newcomer band? I mean, your record is brand fresh on the market. And I mean, how was it for you during the touring cycle? Like, oh, damn, we have to drive home. I think it was Berlin or something. It was your last regular day. And
it was in Berlin. So we played our last show in Munich, I think, on Thursday, and then we drove to Berlin the day after, and we actually unloaded the van, we set up the stage, and then Evil Invaders, Angelus Patrida, they did their sound check. And it was like an hour before doors were opening that we got the news that all events were cancelled, at least in the area of Berlin. So, yeah, for us it was a bit of a bummer because we were really looking forward to get to the end of the tour. But then the show in Hamburg was still confirmed. So the morning after, we drove like very early to Hamburg, and then at 12 o'clock they told us that they were gonna cancel like all events and stuff like that. So Hanover was cancelled as well, so we decided to go back home from Hamburg. But yeah, it was our first tour, so for us it's been it's been weird because we were expecting like to of course have a lot of fun, we did, but on the other hand we had this sort of stress, like something like, we never knew if we were gonna be able to play the show until we could actually start playing, because every time it was like, yes, it's 1 hour to the show, and still we didn't get any notification like for canceling the show. So like, it was a bit stressy.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
But the shows we played were actually really good. Like there's been a lot of attendance, quite a lot of people, and we had a lot of fun during this show. So it's been the response of the audience was amazing. So
one good thing is that the tour is somehow rescheduled in February or January 2021. February, yeah. And Evil Invaders headlining, you are opening, and great package. I think 3 or 4 bands, something like that. And the cool thing is you will play in my region, in the region of Essen and Düsseldorf at the Pitcher. It's a small bar. I will definitely will be there because it's a small club. And after you played, or at least Evil Invaders or all bands, I think they have to reopen it because it's so small and it will be definitely extreme hot. And we'll translate it for our viewers for a second. Wie Ricky uns gerade sagte, beziehungsweise ich euch gesagt habe, ich wollte eigentlich zur Show von der Band hin, die im März stattgefunden hat und im Februar die Tour mit Evil Invaders. Die haben auch bei uns hier in Essen gespielt. Ich habe überlegt, soll ich hingehen oder soll ich nicht hingehen, habe es dann doch sein gelassen, weil Corona war noch damals halt ziemlich neu und keiner wusste halt das irgendwie einzuordnen. Ricky sagte selber, die Band war auf der Tour, haben in München gespielt und da hieß es schon, einzelne Tourdaten sind unsicher, stellenweise sind Sachen gecancelt und die Jungs sind dann morgens nach Hamburg hingefahren, haben alles aufgebaut, bis es dann hieß, nee, tut uns leid, ihr könnt hier nicht weiter spielen. Er sagt zudem, dass es auch sehr, sehr stressig für die Band war, dementsprechend in dieser Zeit zu touren, weil halt keiner wusste, okay, können wir am nächsten Tag spielen, ja oder nein, weil halt jede Stadt oder Bundesland hier in Deutschland zumindest da eine andere Regelung hatte, wie der ein oder andere von euch weiß. Nichtsdestotrotz, sagte er, war die Tour mega. Es war deren erste Tour, war immer voll gefüllte Hallen und wer es nicht mitbekommen hat, die Jungs kommen mit Evil Invaders wieder auf Tour im Februar 2021, spielen unter anderem hier im Kreis Nordrhein-Westfalen, Düsseldorf im Pitcher, wo ich nur sagen kann, also das Ding, das wird ausverkauft sein und dann wird die Hütte abgerissen. So Ricky, I want to talk about your debut record, this one here, because I also ordered, and for me it's definitely a thrash death metal masterpiece.
Thanks.
I'm pretty overwhelmed because if I get it right, you founded your band in 2016, 4 years ago. This is your first ever output. You never released something like a demo CD or demo tape, if it's right?
No, because when we founded the band in 2016, towards the end of 2016, me and Romeo. And then, I think towards the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, we completed a lineup with Marty on guitar and Lorenzo on drums. Then Lorenzo had some health issues, and because of that, we didn't play live shows and stuff like that, so the band wasn't really active. Although we wrote the songs, and so it took a while then, to record them, get the band in shape, till we could start to rehearsal together. So that's why the EP was released in 2020. Also because we recorded it at the end of 2018.
Oh yeah.
So it took a long time to get it released. We had some delays with artwork and stuff that happens,
Yeah.
So it had some delays, but normally it was recorded almost 2 years ago.
Wow, interesting. Was Ricky uns gerade sagte hier zu deren Debüt-EP, das Ganze wurde schon vor 2 Jahren aufgenommen und war dann Ende 2018 sogar fertig. Wie er sagte, die üblichen Dinge sind halt dazwischen gekommen. Es gab Probleme mit dem Artwork hier und da, habt ihr nicht gesehen. Deswegen hat es so lange gedauert, bis das feine Stück dann endlich 2020 bei uns hier erschienen ist. Wie ich gerade schon sagte, die Band gibt es seit 2016. Das übliche Spiel, müssen sie erstmal Bandmitglieder finden, einspielen und genau, das ist so bis jetzt der Karriereschritt der Band. Und was sehr, sehr interessant ist, die haben davor kein Demo-Tape, gar nichts veröffentlicht. Das ist erst deren erste Veröffentlichung. Und ich werde jetzt mal nachfragen, wie groß der Einfluss von Sepultura auf der Band war. So, Ricky, I want to ask, because of your band name, how big was the impact of that record on your band or on the band's name? You know which record it is, right?
I would say huge. It did have have a huge influence, you know. It still has a huge influence. Yeah. I mean, maybe not so much like in the songwriting itself, you know. Like we didn't, of course, like we didn't want to do a Sepultura worshipping record, even though we worship Sepultura definitely. But we didn't want to do like a copy of something, you know. But for us, Schizophrenia has that kind of like rawness, you know, the aggression, the violence that we want to bring, you know. Yeah. So it definitely had that kind of influence in our music, and also, you know, like the attitude of old Sepultura, you know, like very, very much like no compromise, like all in, you know, just it's pure violence. Yeah. That's what we want to bring up. So
it is interesting that you mentioned that. Let me say this time frame of Sepultura is a huge influence of your band, because usually if you say Sepultura, everybody's saying like Beneath the Remains, Chaos AD, Rise, those kind of records, but you're one step behind, like Schizophrenia or the first record.
To me, Sepultura, like, I mean, until Arise, I really love them. Arise included. Chaos AD was a little bit of a turning point, probably, but yeah, we're all big fans of Sepultura up until Arise. Yeah. So, but yeah, the album Schizophrenia had a different feeling, I think.
Nice. Was Ricky gerade sagte, ich habe es euch ja gerade hier in die Kamera gehalten, von Sepultura, Schizophrenia, eines der ersten Alben von Creator, wie er gerade uns sagte, hat einen großen Einfluss auf die Band. Was die Band besonders daran mag, an dem Sound, ist es halt sehr, sehr brutal, geht nach vorne, es ist roh. Er sagte uns auch, ja, Rise gehört auch noch wohl mit in die Riege rein, aber bei Chaos AD, da kam schon so ein Wendepunkt bei der Band rein. Also jeder, der die Band verfolgt, weiß, was damit gemeint ist. Es ist sehr, sehr interessant zu hören, sagte ich auch, dass sie halt genau diese, sag ich mal, diese Rohzeit der Band genommen haben und nicht dann diese weitere erfolgreiche Zeit, nämlich das war noch echt, wo die so ein unbeschriebenes Blatt waren. Und so, yeah, which influence besides Sepultura do you have? I mean, if I listen to your record, I can hear so much stuff, like, for instance, Carcass, Homework, for instance, the track, you know, it's a mix between thrash and death metal. You can not say it. Is it just this genre? No, it's crossed, it's mixed. It's very interesting.
Yeah, well, we all have. I mean, we all always listen to thrash and death metal, you know, and I have to say that all of us have different influences. Like, for example, Romeo is a lot into like extreme thrash, death metal. Marty also, like, we all listen to thrash and death metal, but beside that, like, I listen a lot to, you know, like, also 70s hard rock, you know, like stuff like that. Marty's a huge heavy metal fan, you know, like Lorenzo, our drummer, is a lot into punk as well, you know. Yeah. So we definitely have lots of influences and different music backgrounds. But yeah, we wanted to bring up again that kind of thrash death metal that was I can't even say it was big at the end of the 80s or 90s, you know, like, because you take bands like I don't know, Solstice or Demolition Hammer, like back in their times they were still small, you know, like. I think they're more popular now than they used to be when they deserved it. You know, like they're having a bit of more recognition now than in the 90s. And to us, that kind of thrash death metal is probably the most violent music, you know, ever created. I'd like that sort of attack rawness, you know, like very, very direct, and that's what we wanted to do, because we kind of felt, and we still feel like that in standard, if we can say standard thrash metal, it's a bit like everything is a bit overdone, you know, like everything is being said. Like there's thousands of thrash metal bands in the world, and it is really hard to come up with something that it's original, you know, that hasn't been done before. So we opened up to death metal influences. I mean, we're big fans of Morbid Angel, especially like early Morbid Angel, but also like the later stuff. But I don't know, like Death, and then Demolition Hammer, Morbid Saint, you know, like all this kind of bands, Devastation. So we kind of wanted to get like influences from these two different genres, you know, and combine them together for something more aggressive than just regular thrash metal, you know.
What I really like is you can hear definitely your influences and also all the bands which you mentioned, like Death, for instance. And when it comes to your EP, what I like is that you didn't try to copy also the sound back then, because the production 30 years ago is completely different if you are recording it now in 2020. And this is like a modern production. And it's also what I mentioned before, what I really like. And or sometimes if I listen to old records like Sepultura or Sodom, for instance, I wish like, oh man, I love the songs, I love the sound, but the production is, I don't know. But of course, it's a frame of time. But like I said, I love modern production. It should sound huge and heavy guitars, and also the drumming should be massive, and all this is combined on your record. Was it also for you a point that you say, hey, yes, we don't want to sound like the bands 30 years ago. We're doing the sound, of course, the influences like that, but we want a modern production?
Yeah, well, of course, like, I think, I mean, we live in 2020, and there's no point in recording something like badly just to sound like if it was 30 years ago, you know. I mean, I don't like overproduced records. I don't think our record is overproduced.
No.
I think it has like it has a production that makes it justice, you know.
Yeah.
And that the production of our EP like really helps like the music to express itself, you know. And it's there's a lot of definition in the sound, and that's what we wanted. Yeah, we didn't want to sound like I mean, of course we are influenced by basically only older bands, you know, but yeah, we didn't want to sound like an old band at the end. I think if there's something original then that we can do is not to copy their sound, because of course, as you said, like, I mean, yeah, we're doing something right now that not many bands are doing, but of course it's not the most original thing that we're doing, you know, like you can hear the influences, but sound wise, I think that was pretty original, actually, but not to copy anything and go for like our own sound. And that played definitely a positive role, because people seemed to enjoy the sound very much, so that was a good choice.
Ja, ich habe gerade nochmal mit Ricky gesprochen über die Einflüsse und die Produktion auf dem Album. Sagte auch, ja, also viel Death Metal spielt bei denen eine Rolle. Eine Band oder zwei Bands sind Morbid Angel oder Death. Und ja, die Einflüsse hört man auch deutlich auf den Platten raus. Zu der Produktion selber, wer das feine Stück sich holt, wird feststellen, ach ja, man hört auch die Einflüsse zwischen Death und Thrash Metal Bands. Klar, Anfang der 90er, Ende der 80er Jahre spielen da eine wesentliche Rolle. Aber die Produktion, die ist sehr, sehr modern und besitzt ordentlich Druck. Und die sagten auch, oder beziehungsweise Ricky sagte gerade auch, ja, das ist so gewollt, weil wir leben in 2020, wir haben ganz andere Möglichkeiten, Sachen aufzunehmen, und ist auch sehr, sehr detailverliebt. reich geworden, damit es so klingt, wie es klingt. Und ja, ich werde jetzt hier noch mal fragen, wie die Pläne während der Corona-Zeit aussahen, beziehungsweise in den letzten 1,5 Jahren, weil das feine Stück, das wurde halt vor 2 Jahren aufgenommen und das Songwriting liegt ja noch länger zurück. So, like you mentioned earlier before, the recording process for the EP is now around 2 years old, and did you work on the new songs in the past, or especially during the Corona time?
Yeah, we've been actually writing a lot during the lockdown. I mean, we already had like some newer songs before the pandemic thing, and actually on tour we've been playing a new song that's not on the EP, and we presented it for the first time in January for our release show.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been writing quite a lot of stuff. Actually, right now we have a lot of material to work on, and of course it's still all very much like raw. It's like rough ideas, you know. But we're trying to put all the ideas together now and finalize the song. So I don't want to say too much, but but somewhere next year we're going to have something new.
Ooh, very interesting. How was it about the feeling when you got the record in your own hands, the vinyl, the CD? You also said there was a long gap between 2018, 2019 because of the artwork, etc. And you created the band since 2016, like you said, finding members, build up a band, and then the day you got the record. How was it for you to hold it in your hand? Like, whoa, damn, it's a vinyl record. The production is great and everything. How was it? I mean, it's the first release.
It was a huge relief. I mean, yeah, it took a really long time actually, because we had like so many issues on the way, you know, so many troubles, and we kind of thought like, oh, this is never gonna happen, you know. So having it like in our hands, you know, was a huge relief, and I mean, very satisfying. And also we didn't really expect the like so many like positive reactions from everywhere, you know, like the feedback has been way like beyond our expectations. Like we didn't really expect like some. I mean, we knew we had like some powerful songs in there, you know, like we had a powerful EP, but wow, that was like, we didn't really expect like so much
feedback
of a big reaction. So that was really good for us.
I saw also here in Germany in major magazines like Death Forever, for instance, or Rock Hard, I saw a review of your record and they hyped your band and the Voices EP very much. And what I also saw on your website when I was ordering the vinyl, that the vinyl red color is sold out. And then I got one of the last copies of the yellow vinyl, which is, I guess, also sold out. And now you have
it should be sold out, I think, yeah.
And now you got a third colored repress. And I guess also on tour and during the time you sold a lot of black vinyls and CD, etc. So not just the feedback like from journalist wise is good. Also the record sales for newcomer band.
That's been crazy. Like we keep receiving orders like every day. Like we've been selling a lot of merch, and we never expected to sell that much. You know, also on tour, like, and it seems like the German crowd really likes us. So like. In Germany, like we've been, it was really overwhelming. You know, like it was a huge surprise every night. Like it's amazing. Like hard to believe, you know, like that when you're there. it's definitely something really cool.
Ich habe gerade nochmal angesprochen wegen der Corona-Zeit und auch den letzten Monaten und Jahren, wie es da aussieht mit neuen Songs. Ich sagte, ja, die arbeiten da an Sachen, möchte jetzt aber noch nicht zu viel verraten. Wer weiß, es kann ja immer irgendwie was dazwischen kommen, aber nächstes Jahr wird es vielleicht etwas geben. Nichtsdestotrotz habe ich noch nachgefragt, wie ihr das findet, halt das Feedback hier und die ganzen Reaktionen zu der Platte. Er sagt ja gerade auch, ja, gerade hier in Deutschland, jeden Abend von Publikum zu spielen, die Reaktion zu sehen, findet er selber sehr, sehr surreal. Und da habe ich es nochmal angesprochen, also nicht nur das Feedback der deutschen Presse, also wie Death Forever, Metal Hammer, Rock Hard war sehr, sehr positiv, sondern auch die Platten verkaufen sich sehr, sehr gut. Die erste Pressung ist fast ausverkauft. Damit meine ich, die 2 farbigen Pressungen sind so gut wie weg. Es gibt eine dritte, Green Splatter, schaut einfach mal vorbei. Und er sagte auch, ja, die verkaufen jeden Tag Merchandise aus aller Welt. Das ist echt komplett Wahnsinn. Die können das noch gar nicht so begreifen. Aber es bestätigt auch irgendwo die Band, dass sie halt gerade durch ihren Sound und durch ihre Präsenz etwas geschaffen haben, wo dementsprechend Bedarf ist. Und ja. So yeah, I want a little bit talk about your different media types, because you released a CD, vinyl, and also tapes. It's very interesting because usually everybody's like streaming, etc. But for instance, for metal and for the metal scene, everybody wants something, you know, in his or her hands to grab and to see something. And what I also saw is it's a DIY release, right? It's not on a label or something like that. It's a independent release.
Yeah. It's a DIY release. Yeah.
What do you think about?
So sorry, I think the I missed the part of your question. You were kind of stuck.
No problem. Do you get some offers from record labels or something like that? Because
yeah, we did. We actually had many offers from both like underground record labels and also like some big ones. I would say quite big ones. And although we're still doing it very much DIY, because right now the offers even from bigger record labels were not so interesting for like, you know, from our point of view. So we're still gonna keep it DIY until we get better offers. I mean, we don't want to rush things, you know. We don't want to get ourselves into, you know, long-term contracts that are not very very good for us. So until we find like a very good offer, then we'll stay like this. But yeah, we did cassettes, like the tapes with Time Victims Productions. That's from Germany, and of course we had a very very good relationship with Florian. We're really happy about his work. We totally support his label. It's an underground label. He has like tons of amazing bands. So it was a pleasure for us to. It's still a pleasure for us to work with him. You know, he did cassettes for us, and then like did some packages with metal pins and round pins. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, for the rest, it's all DIY.
Gerade noch sagte, zu der Veröffentlichung, alles ist DIY. Wir sind sehr, sehr froh, gerade bei dem Tape-Release, dass sie mit einem deutschen Label zusammengearbeitet haben. Das ist heutzutage auch nicht mehr selbstverständlich. Die Band hat natürlich auch sehr, sehr viele Plattenverträge angeboten bekommen, aber aus deren Sicht lohnt sich das nicht. Die wollen so weit wie es geht DIY unabhängig bleiben, aber wer weiß, was halt noch die Zukunft bereithält. And my personal point is about this whole record label and DIY thing is that I don't know if you need really a record label, because the third thing is you need a good record and a good promotion company, because all the offers which you got for concerts, etc., maybe a booking agency. Yeah, that you need a good booking agency, promoter, and of course manager, because he's doing also a lot of stuff while you don't have the time, are on stage, driving, etc. but a record label, and it's another point is about when it comes to money and the charge of it, and today's, like I said before, contracts are not that satisfying, let me say. What the offers, for instance, like, I don't know, music videos. I don't know if record labels in these days paying money for music videos. It's all DIY by bands, or give you maybe a small budget.
They some of them
Depends.
offer you like some money, like to record the album, and a little bit of money to record to make video clips. But like now that like for voices for our EP, we did everything ourselves, and we know what the average costs of the production of the EP and video clips are. And I can tell you that like some offers of these labels are have very low budgets,
Yeah. Definitely.
So and they normally take especially like the bigger labels, they take quite a high percentage. So for at the end, what we needed was like to have a good record, and promotion. And that's something we can take care of ourselves, And so as long as we can do it ourselves, I think we'll go this way, because maybe for the distribution, that's what a label can help a lot with. But I mean, right now, like this was our Debüt-EP. We didn't need our record to be in music stores all over the world. Like we wanted to be known, at least in the European area. So that just to say, here we are. This is our material. This is what we do, and then like of course in the future, if things keep going well, then we'll have to maybe with a record label or find a distributor, but for now we can manage things ourselves. We can do the shippings ourselves, so it's fine like that.
Er sagte uns gerade nochmal zum Thema Label, dass so wie die Sache ist, dass es eigentlich sehr, sehr gut für die Band läuft. Das ist noch gerade so vertretbar, dass sie alles selber machen können, also sprich Sachen selber verschicken. Ich hatte nochmal angesprochen, dass es halt nochmal Unterschiede gibt, beziehungsweise dass man heutzutage nicht unbedingt ein Label mehr benötigt. Was man braucht, sind halt einen guten Manager, Booking und eine Promo-Firma. Und da sagte er gerade, muss man aber auch schauen, je nachdem wie groß man ist, weil nämlich schließlich eine Plattenfirma kann dann nämlich deine Platte in einen Plattenladen halt durch den Vertrieb halt dahin bringen. Das muss man immer halt so abwägen. So, what I want to ask you, can you name us your favorite 3 thrash metal records? Because our magazine is called Moshpit Passion, and this right here is a Thrash Whiplash. So the core is more about thrash metal, and what are your favorite thrash metal records and why?
Tough question. Well, the first one, it's very easy for me, and it's Raining Blood.
It's Raining Blood, not Master of Puppets.
Not Master of Puppets. No, I think that Raining Blood had like much more influence on me than Master of Puppets. Even though, like, of course, I love Master of Puppets too, But I would say Raining Blood. Like, just it's just pure perfection. Like nothing much to say. It's pure violence, like. And also, what I find really cool is that it's just like less than half an hour long, But it has
fast.
It has everything it needs to have, and it leaves you like breathless at the end. So it's that's definitely, in my opinion, that's the best thrash metal album ever released, and it's timeless. Like still today.
Yeah, definitely
unbeatable. And then I would say probably So Far So Good, So What.
Megadeth. Yeah.
Because it's one of these records that have influenced me a lot in the style I play bass.
Yeah.
Together, probably together with Killing Is My Business.
Business is good. Yeah.
I've learned how to play tight on bass, with this records. And then I'd say Extreme Aggressions from Creator. That had and still has a huge influence. Yeah, exactly.
Creator, of course.
That still has a huge influence on my and the way of being a frontman. And also I always loved like the lyrics, very much like no compromise. Like a lot of rage in the lyrics and the way they're brought out. And it's I think it's very hard to do something like that on a record, because I think it's easier to put that kind of rage during a live show because of the adrenaline and everything, but it's not that easy. Like when you're in a studio, and you're doing it like by yourself or just with another person, and you do more takes and everything. But that's what I would like to bring in my records, that kind of rage, that attitude.
That's a very interesting what you say. The point of aggression, that is something very unique and something. Of course, you can listen to a hard and heavy record, but that's my feeling when I listen to it. I don't get I don't want to say I don't get the point, but I don't get the mood to be enraged, to be pissed off, I want to jump into a mosh pit. And like I said, there are some records which bringing it, and also it's a different layer if you're in a studio or you're live and you're completely in the mood live. It's very interesting. And for instance, when I got your record on the headphones, I got this feeling like I want to jump into a mosh pit. Like
Thanks.
On the
that's a big compliment.
Definitely, like the open track, Structure of Death it's a perfect opener for a band to start an evening and to set the tone to get what you want, to get it a tough and rough show. So it's very interesting to have this in common, and also to listen to this on the records if it's got the aggression and transportating that. And ich habe gerade nochmal nach den 3 Lieblings-Thrash-Alben gesagt. Er sagte, Platz Nummer 1, ganz klar Slayer, ist ein persönlicher Einfluss, geht unter, 30 Minuten, da ist alles gesagt, muss man nicht mehr viel mehr sagen. Dann Megadeth, So Far, So Good, So What, wegen dem Bassspiel von Dave Ellefson. Er gerade als Basser hat da sehr, sehr großen Spaß und Gefallen dran gefunden. Und dann zum Schluss Creator, Extreme Aggression. Generell sagt er, dass es darum geht in der Musik, dass die Platten eine gewisse Aggressivität transportieren, wo ich gesagt habe, das Gefühl habe ich auch, wenn ich die EP höre, dass die Platte nach vorne geht. Ich möchte sofort zu einer Live-Show hin und dann den Moshpit einsteigen, was etwas sehr, sehr selten ist, dass das Bands halt auch transportieren können. So I see our time is running out. There's one question left because our magazine is called Moshpit Passion. Can you maybe tell us a Moshpit experience from your teenager years, or do you have a completely silly Moshpit experience when you are on stage and played here in, I don't know, in Munich, for instance, or in Essen, and you were like, what is this?
I think my first Moshpit, like the first big one and serious one, was in Milan. Mm-hmm. I was watching. I went to see Accept. I'm Italian, so I saw Accept in Milan, and as soon as they started, like the song Breaker, the crowd went nuts, and I lost my balance and I fell. I was ran over by 100 people. I thought I was gonna die for a second. That was a weird experience, but that was my baptism of fire, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then another fun one was fun when I was in the moment, but the day after wasn't that much fun. I went to see Twisted Sister. I think it was one of the last, probably the last show they played in Belgium. And I think towards the end of the show they were playing it. We're Not Gonna Take It, like 3-4 times. They were starting again over and over. And I was crowd surfing, and I was very much like close to the stage, and I had an empty spot below me, and I fell from really high on the ground.
Oh.
And by then I was pretty drunk, so I just didn't give a shit, I just stood up and kept going. But then the morning after, when I woke up, I couldn't walk, and I had to be in bed for a long time before I could actually walk properly, because I hit my back very badly. So
so Eric, thank you very much for the time, for the interview.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best, and I hope to see you next year, February, in Düsseldorf at the Picture.
I hope so too. Hopefully this pandemic, it's just gonna be a bad memory by then.
Yeah,
I hope so, because we're really looking forward to play live shows again. That's what we like the most. So, and we can't wait to be back in Germany, because the attendance and the feedback during this first tour has been amazing, and we're looking forward to do that again.
So yeah, thank you very much. Und für euch da draußen, Schizophrenia Voices gibt es bei der Band über Big Cartel für einen schnappen Taler. Ganz wichtig noch, supportet die Band. Vielen lieben Dank, dass ihr eingeschaltet habt. Lasst uns noch ein Abo da und einen Daumen nach oben, und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Haut rein, bye.